Hello everyone, how's it going? This is going to be a quick video where I go through which mods I have installed for my current Skyrim Special Edition playthrough, and when I'm done, if I have time this episode, if not I'll do it in a different video, I will explain what each of them do very briefly. But I don't have super long to record, so we gotta get on with this. So, if at any moment I'm going too quick for you, pause the video. Also bear in mind, the only mods that will work for Skyrim Special Edition that haven't been converted specifically to work for it are texture mods. So if they replace, you know, what swords look like, or what armors look like, or what the rocks look like, that type of thing, they, for the most part, will work fine. But make sure you check on the mod description page. Other than that, you want to go to the Skyrim Nexus for Special Edition. Bear that in mind. And I'm using here Nexus Mod Manager. You want to download that? That's how you're going to download and install most of these mods. Right, so again, I'm just going to go through the names, and then if we get time afterwards, I'll briefly explain what they do. So, we have nothing under alchemy. Again, this is all split into brackets. We have for animations, 4 new idols in Skyrim. That's required for another mod, so that's why I have that. No spinning death animation, pretty combat animations. We have DCR King Crusader Mega Pack, immersive armors, fantasy soundtrack project. We have immersive sounds, beards, total character makeover, unofficial Skyrim special edition patch. Jesus Christ, even if you're not going to mod your Skyrim, install that. It fixes a bunch of bugs that Bethesda were too lazy to fix. I'm talking like hundreds, maybe thousands. And just little graphical inconsistencies, that type of thing. Castle of Volkihar rebuilt. Leveless Tower, 4.4, specifically. JK's Riverwood. JK's Whiterun. These ones, if they're got like a little red symbol, like a no entry sign, or if they're grayed out like this, it means I did not install them. I tested them, and then there was something wrong, so that's why I didn't install them. So ignore those ones. Cloaks of Skyrim, Rustic Clothing, Skyrim Unique Treasures, Draw, Violence, Warzones, Wildcat, Ars Metallica, Smithing Enhanced, Diverse Dragons Collection, Horse Armors, Sea of Spirits, Sky Test, Realistic Animals and Predators, Lanterns of Skyrim, Matzo Immersive Sun, Realistic Water 2, Vivid Weathers, Sophia the Funny Fully Voiced Follower, I'll be the judge of whether you're funny or not, Alternate Start Live Another Life, Cooking in Skyrim, a food and cooking overhaul, Cutting Room Floor I had problems with because of compatibility, good work there brain, with another mod, so I didn't install that, but I did mess around with it. Follower Trap Safety, Lethal Traps, Run for Your Lives, Weightless, Better Harvesting, Birds of Skyrim, Immersive Citizens, Immersive Patrols, Joy of Perspective, Relationship Dialogue Overhaul, Skybirds, The Joy of Perspective, even though it just said that, didn't it? It did. Oh, that's the patch for Immersive Armor, so there you go. Joy of Perspective, Immersive Armor's patch, and the regular Joy of Perspective, Wet and Cold, Wearable Lanterns, Summer Mist Enchantments of Skyrim, XX Awesome Potions XX. Yeah, shit, you know, that's what it's called. It looks pretty good, though. It's just a texture mod for potions. Realistic Water 2 Lod Fix. Basically, there's a... You know what, I'll explain it at the end, like I said. Let's just go through it right now. Fendrix Magic World DLC. Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim Ordinator Compatibility Patch. Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim Irregular. Dweematek Magic of Skyrim. Spectroverse Magic of the Magnagi. Visual Animated Enchants, or VAE if you will. Rich Skyrim Merchants. Oh my god, brain. Apophysis Dragon Priest Masks. Book Covers Skyrim CC's Enhanced Ore Veins. Gecko's 4K Mountain Textures. Lean Wolf's Better Shaped Weapons. Nordic Snow, aka HQ Snow Texture. Ruins Clutter Improved. Rustic Windows, Skyrim Special Edition. Skyrim Floor Overhaul. SSE Texture Pack, Osmodius, Static Mesh Improvement Mod, Troll, and just retextures a Troll, or the Trolls, Bears, or Mounts, and Followers. So if you want Dover Bear, that's the one you want. Beyond Skyrim Bruma Special Edition, and the Beyond Skyrim Bruma Special Edition patch, and the Beyond Skyrim Bruma DLC Integration patch. So just download all that shit. I think it's all on the same mod page. Amazing Follower Tweaks. Deuce's Original, sure, we'll go with that. Campfire, Complete Camping System, OBIS, Organized Bandits in Skyrim Special Edition, including the Patrols add-on, Populated Lands, Roads, Paths, Legendary, RS Children Overhaul, Beyond Skyrim Bruma Patch, RS Children Overhaul, Bed of Empires 8.1, Moonlight Tales Special Edition Werewolf and Werebear Overhaul. Ordinator Perks of Skyrim. Realistic Lighting had a problem with another lighting mod, so I didn't install that. Unofficial Enhanced Lights and FX Static Mesh Improvement Mod FPS Performance Patch. Yeah, that's a mouthful. So, spoilers, I have Enhanced Lights and FX. Player homes, we have Aliot Citadel, Breeze Home, Eli's Breeze Home Overhaul, a Daedric Castle, a Snow Elf Palace. We have Clockwork, Helgen Reborn, Moonpath to Elsewhere, The Forgotten City, The Grey Cowl of Nocturnal, The Parthenax Dilemma, Imperious, Races of Skyrim, Concentrative Fire and Frost Breaths, Thunderchild Epic Shouts and Immersion. We have Realistic AI Detection, SE, a better sneaking. Sneak Tools, Special Edition. Stealth Kills for Followers, Standalone. And we have, okay, so, these ones. Every single one here are not uploaded to the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus, so you will have to download them manually and then add them to the mod manager. The way you do that is, again, you download it manually. You click this little plus, it will go to your downloads folder, you double click whichever it is, and it will install like a normal mod, and just, again, install it like a normal mod. So, again, these are for the original version of Skyrim, but they will work with this because they are just texture mods. So we have a Midian-born Book of Science armors, creatures, Dragonborn DLC, unique items, and weapons. This one, I can't remember what the crap this is called. I want to say it's like Skyrim 2K. I think it's called Skyrim 2K. So it's just a big texture mod for Skyrim. You'll find it, it's in the top 100 on the page. So this one is the Markarth the White City and Markarth the White City interiors. Pretty self-explanatory, makes Markarth into a white city. It looks pretty cool. Sexy Winterhold makes Winterhold College look pretty sexy. We have apparently all the same stuff here. A little confusing. Let's just get rid of that so I'm less confused. A quality world map. Classic with all roads. I wanted the map, like the paper map version of that, but it wasn't working for me, so I installed the regular version. Better dialogue controls. Pastel map markers. QD Inventory SSE, because Sky UI doesn't work right now for this, because it needs SKSE, which currently isn't out for Skyrim Special Edition. If none of that made sense to you, I don't blame you. Skyhard, Southern Guard Mists Font Replacer, and get the hell out of here! And we have Enhanced Blood Textures, Enhanced Lights and FX, Footprints, Imaginator, Visual Control Device for Skyrim. We're almost done, everyone. Elemental Arrows by Fuma, or Fuma, whatever you prefer, I don't give a shit. Faction Crossbows SE, Realistic Melee Range, Skyrim SE Expanded Skyrim Weaponry, that's a mouthful, and finally, Unique Uniques. So, yeah, let's go through this really quick, because I got like maybe 5 minutes. If I'm really fast, we can do this, because I gotta go to work. So, this one, again, I don't know exactly what it does, but the point is I needed it for something else, so I'm not going to go into that because I don't know what it does. No spin death animation, removes the death animation. Pretty combat animations, makes the combat animations look better. DCR, this is just a badass looking set of armor. This is a shitload of cool armors that fit well into the game, and there is an option to either have them... I think so, anyway. I think there's an option to have them spread out on the leveled list, so, you know, random bandits and things like that can be wearing them. Or I think you can just have it so that they're purely craftable. I have the version that has them in the leveled list, though I could be wrong, maybe that's not even an option. Either way, point is, they're in my leveled list. This is... It adds... I can't remember how many... In fact, it says it right there. 800 plus minutes, 12 plus hours of new music for Skyrim. It doesn't... There is an option to have it replace all the music in Skyrim. I downloaded the version that simply adds on, so the regular music is still there, but there's also a shitload of new music, which apparently fits in, but I haven't heard any of it yet, because I installed this literally yesterday, so I haven't played Skyrim since then. Immersive Sounds Compendium, that replaces almost every sound in the game, and in my opinion, I haven't heard one yet that I think is worse, so I would recommend that. Beards, it makes beards higher resolution. There's a 4K option. I probably will upgrade to that at some point, but I was making sure the game was stable before I did that. Total Character Makeover, makes a bunch of characters in the game look better. Unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, like I told you, fixes a shitload of bugs and inconsistencies and just little things like that. This is required for a bunch of mods, so even if you're not going to mod your game, download that. Even if you just want a vanilla experience, download that, because it's just a patch. It will fix a bunch of shit, again, that Bethesda just couldn't be bothered to fix. They're like, you know what, we'll let them do it, it'll be fine. So other than that, we have this, I believe, is kind of an extension to the, what the hell is it called? The Dawnguard questline, where you can rebuild the castle afterwards. You know what? Let me sign out of Steam. There you go. Alright, so, Leveler's Tower. This is listed under cheats, so you're not going to find it under regular player homes, but it is a player home. And you don't have to use it to cheat, but you can. There are a bunch of buttons in the tower where you can press them and raise your stats and stuff like that. However, other than that, it's a badass player home. It's got like a horse that comes with it, all kinds of cool stuff like that. I would recommend the shit out of getting that, even if you are not playing to cheat, which I'm personally not. So this is an extension to Riverwood, adds more like buildings and more things going on there. Same thing here, but for Whiterun. Make sure that if you are using Open Cities, that you have the JK Open Cities version of Whiterun. You do not need it for Riverwood, because Riverwood is not a city, it's a town. Cloaks of Skyrim adds a shitload. Adds almost 100 new styles of cloak to the world of Skyrim via crafting, leveled lists, and static loot. Good explanation. Rustic clothing. High-res version of clothing. There's also a 4K option, which I'll also probably be upgrading to. Looks really good. Doesn't do armor, just clothing, bear that in mind. That's why we have a Midian born, but we'll get to that in a minute. Skyrim Unique Treasures adds a shitload of booty around the world that are, as it says, unique treasures. I've only found one so far. It was kind of like this cool, giant, sort of ornate look. It looked a bit like a giant opal. And it was in one of the bars in Windhelm, like in a back room. It looked pretty cool. So, yeah, there's also a few options for that. You can install just the overall version, you can install a specifically lore-friendly version, and there's an immersive lore-friendly version. So, you know, not lore-friendly, but feels like it would be. I went with that one. Draw lets you challenge dudes to a duel. You have a shout. Tried it a couple of times. Eventually it worked, like he popped up as an enemy, but then he ran away from me. And I think that's something to do with the AI overhaul that I have on, so I don't know. I chased him and beat the shit out of him anyway. Violence. This lets you control a bunch of kill moves, how often they activate and stuff like that. But also it adds some new ones to the game that were previously cut content. So I'd recommend that even if you just want it for those. War zones. I'm not 100% sure on this one. I think it just adds a bunch of war zones of, you know, like Imperials fighting Stormcloaks and stuff like that all around the world. And I think also mages and things of that nature. Because at one point when I was testing the game to see if it crashed, I shit you not, about 10 mages ran up on me. It was scary as shit. And they kind of mauled me to death. So I think it's something to do with that. Wildcat is a combat overhaul. It says right here, improved combat AI, modifying combat styles and gameplay, attacks of opportunity, time blocking, faster combat, deal and take more damage, unintrusive, low script load, blah blah blah. You get the point. It makes combat more interesting and more tactical. This lets you melt down a bunch of unwanted armor for bars, things like that. I think it does some other stuff. Either way, it's good. Get it. Diverse Dragons Collection, pretty self-explanatory. It adds a shitload, and I do mean a shitload of dragons to the list of dragons that can pop up in the game, and they have unique shouts and things like that. Super cool. Horse Armors of Skyrim, again, self-explanatory. Adds horse armors. I think it does some other cool stuff, though. I think, for example, I don't know if it's an option or if it just happens. I think that if a horse has armor, it can't die. I could be wrong. Though, again, that might be an option, or it might just be forced, or it might not even be there, but I think it is. Sea of Spirits. This is kind of like, yeah, it's by the guys who make Beasts of Tamriel, which I didn't install because a lot of them looked a bit janky. This one essentially just adds a bunch of new creatures to the game, but only in and around the seas, so around the edge of the map, I believe. Some of them look very cool. I don't know, though, what the quality is like. From what I saw, they looked like they fit in, so I went with that. Sky Test, this makes animal AI more realistic, so typically if you come across one wolf, it will largely run away from you. However, if they're in a pack, they're gonna maul you. So yeah, it can be a little frustrating. I will not lie to you, because there's been times where I've been chasing a motherfucking wolf down or something, and I'm trying to kill this bastard, and it just keeps getting away from me. So install that one at your own risk. It's a little annoying at times, but overall, it does make it more realistic. And again, I think you know, for example, a wolf is gonna kill like a rabbit if it sees it, that type of thing. The sort of thing that they said would happen in Red Dead Redemption, which by the way didn't. So we got Lanterns of Skyrim. That adds a bunch of lanterns around the game. May not sound that cool, but it makes it easy to see at night. Immersive Sun makes the sun look better. I just like the way it looks. It's bright. It's nice. Realistic Water simply makes the water look better, because the vanilla water looks god-awful. This adds a bunch of different sort of flows to the water. So, for example, rivers will run kind of slow, Whereas if it's a waterfall like rapids, they're going to run fast. If it's a lake, it's going to sit fairly still. You get the idea. Vivid Weathers, it's a weather overhaul mod. Pretty self-explanatory. Sophia, pretty self-explanatory. It's a follower. I briefly spoke to her when I was testing the game. The voice acting seems pretty good. Alternate start lets you pick between a bunch of... Basically, you can either start in just a random bar, or you can start in a shipwreck, or you can just try and escape the cell a la Oblivion. There's a bunch of different beginnings. You can start as, like, a necromancer. Stuff like that. It's very cool. Cooking and Scarm, a food and cooking overhaul. Again, self-explanatory. Okay, follower trap safety. This one, again, pretty self-explanatory. If a follower is walking across a trap, it will no longer trigger the trap. Because quite often that will get you killed, and I have lethal traps, as you see. The traps largely are going to one-shot me, so if you don't have those in combination with each other, chances are if you've got a Dover panda running around with you, he's going to be like, what up, I'm a big fat bear, or a big fat panda, I'm going to walk on this pressure plate, you don't mind, do you? Boom, you get a spike wall in the face and you're dead. So, I'd recommend that, especially if you're using lethal traps. If you're not, you're probably going to be fine. Run for your lives makes citizens run inside when there are dragon attacks instead of just being idiots. Weightless makes a bunch of items in the game not weigh anything, or it makes them weigh significantly less. For example, turn to Sean Connery there. For example, potions weigh 0.1 instead of like a pound or half a pound each or whatever. It's good. Some people might consider that cheating. I really don't. So, whatever. Better harvesting. This has something to do with, for example, if you see a group of like 4 flowers and you pick it, you don't just get 1 anymore, you get 4. Yeah, again, just more realistic, I guess. Birds of Skyrim adds a bunch of birds, and it does work with Skybirds, which also adds a bunch of birds. So there you go. Immersive citizens. This is an AI overhaul. For example, the cart guy, you know, where it's like, where did you want to go? And you can be like, I want you to take me to Windhelm. Instead of just sitting in his cart all day, he'll sometimes go and sit on a rock and read a book, or he'll go and sleep in his tent at night. Families will sometimes eat dinner together, you know, even though it doesn't happen in real life, but I guess it was medieval times. Immersive patrols. There are patrols, and they're immersive, you know, around cities and stuff. Joy of Perspective. This is a first-person mod that essentially adds, you know, when you look down, you can see your feet and your body and that type of thing. So I would recommend that. Relationship dialogue overhaul. This one is complicated. Adds over 5,000 lines of complete voiced dialogue for NPCs to use, spanning more than 50 voice types based on the relationship the NPC has with the player. Basically, it just makes the the dialogue in the game less shitty. The Joy of Perspective, that's the same thing, and again, this is the patch that you will need for immersive armors. Wet and cold. If it is cold, NPCs will, I think, be more inclined to wear sort of, you know, warm clothes, but also they'll get like frosty on their clothing, and if it's raining, you'll see rain dripping off of them. That type of thing. Wearable lanterns. If you are using a mod that makes the game more dark, which I do, I would definitely recommend wearable lanterns, because this way you will not need a torch all the time. You can have a lantern on your hip, you have to craft it, and then you can just walk around with a lantern on, so I'd recommend that. It's got a lot of customization options, including the brightness. You can have it turn off automatically when you sneak, you can put them on your followers, you can... yeah, it's good. Summer Mist Enchantments of Scarm. I don't remember what this is. 104 new enchantments, 55 armor enchantments, 49 weapon enchantments. The new enchantments can be bought and looted like vanilla enchantments. That's right, that's why I've seen... the little bit I've seen of that so far, the new enchantments seem very cool and very varied, so I'd recommend that. This one, like I said, it retextures potions to make them look XX awesome XX, I suppose. Realistic Water 2. So, we went over that. This is the LOD fix. So the LOD is the... I don't know what LOD stands for, but it's something like load on distance or whatever. Essentially, it's what you see from a distance. So, without this patch, it looks super... the water looks super janky from a distance. Get that patch. Trust me on that one. Fendrix Magic World DLC. It is a quest mod, I believe, that adds a shitload of magic spells to the game. Apocalypse adds a shitload of magic spells to the game, including in leveled lists and staves and things like that. I think staves anyway? You see, like, 155 spells, 31 per school, plus scrolls and staves. Yeah, there you go. And there, you will need the Ordinator patch for that if you are using the Ordinator perk overhaul. And I'll just get to that right now. It's a perk overhaul. Makes the perks more interesting and more varied and, just frankly, better. Dweematek adds a bunch of magic of dwarves. Description is right there. We gotta get through this quick. I gotta go. Spectroverse. Same thing, but for not dwarves. Visual animated enchantments. The enchantments... say, for example, you have a fire enchantment on your weapon. The weapon will now be on fire and look cool. Rich Skyrim merchants, I don't remember if we mentioned that one before, but it makes Skyrim merchants have more money instead of like, what up, I've got 150 gold, and what you're trying to sell me is worth 200, and you've got like 50 of them. So that's useful. There is options for that, like 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. I think I have them on 5 times their normal wealth. This makes Dragon Priest masks look better. Some of them look very, very cool. For example, that one. Look at that. Doesn't that look badass? Yes, it does. Book covers. Makes book covers look better. Makes ore veins look better. Makes mountains look better. Makes weapons more realistic shaped instead of giant paddles. Makes the stone look better. Makes ruins clutter look better. Makes windows look better. Makes flora look better. Makes a lot of things look better. This makes a lot of things look better as well. This makes trolls look better. This is a bunch of bears, like Dover bears, Dover pandas, and they seem to be all around Windhelm. For example, look, there's a Dover bear. So there you go. Beyond Skyrim is a quest mod that lets you go to Bruma outside, basically, which is in Cyrodiil, which is where Oblivion is set. Amazing follower tweaks, you'll want that if you are planning on having multiple followers, and it gives you a lot more options with them. Campfire, it's a camping overhaul mod that lets you set up a campfire to cook and stuff. This makes bandits just way more interesting and more organized, and again, this one specifically, the add-on, lets them patrol. This does what it says in the tin, populates lands, roads, and paths with different NPCs doing different things, like pilgrims doing pilgrimages and stuff. This is a children overhaul that makes them look better and more diverse. You'll need the Skyrim Bruma patch for some reason. This makes vampires better. This makes werewolves better. This makes perks better. No, don't freeze on me. Unofficial patch, we went over that. If you're using Static Mesh Improvement mod, this is an Ayleid Citadel player home. This is a Daedric Castle player home. This is a Snow of Palace player home. This overhauls Breeze home in Windhelm. This is a quest mod called Clockwork. This is a quest mod called Helgen Reborn, which lets you rebuild Helgen, which is the place you start the game at. This is a quest mod that lets you go to the moon paths of Eldsweir. It's alright, not my favorite quest mod, but it's decent. The Forgotten City, haven't played it yet, it's a quest mod. Great Cloud Nocturnal, haven't played it yet, it's a quest mod. The Paarthurnax Dilemma fixes something to do with the Paarthurnax situation at the end of the main quest, where essentially you get another choice. I don't really want to spoil it, even though the game's 6 years old. This is an overhaul of the racial abilities and what have you, and passives and stuff like that of the races of Skyrim. This lets the fire and breath dragon shouts be like the dragons. So, for example, if you use the fire shout, instead of being a little puff of fire, you literally breathe fire like a dragon. It's awesome. This is a bunch of new shouts. This does what it says on the tin. Better AI detection, better sneaking. Sneak tools. It lets you do certain things, like, for example, if you have a dagger or a sword, you can go up behind a character and you can slit their throat and just one-shot them. It gives you a bunch of other options. It's good. Get it. Stealth kills for followers. Self-explanatory. This overhauls the textures of armors, creatures, Dragonborn DLC, unique items, so in other words, Daedric artifacts, etc. Weapons. This is, again, I think called Skyrim 2K. I don't know why the file was not called that. So that overhauls a bunch of textures in the game. Some of these will try to overwrite each other. Just pick whichever one you think looks better, I guess. This makes my... Oh, no! Get out of here! Oh, son of a dick. This makes Markarth into a white city. It looks unique and it looks very cool. I like it, though. Bear in mind, the textures are not super high res, but still I like it. That makes Winterhold look very cool. I'd recommend it. It's sort of a black and white marble motif, if you will. A quality world map. Makes the world map look better and shows up roads better. Better. Better dialogue controls. What the hell does that do? I don't remember. Look it up yourself. We ain't got time. Pastel map markers. Makes map markers in different colors. QD inventory. A better inventory. Sky HUD. Gives you more control over the HUD. In other words, the heads-up display, so the stuff that you see on the screen, like HP, etc., and it gives you options. Summon Guard. What the Christ is that? Oh, it's a font replacer, that's right. Enhanced blood textures. Makes the blood look better. Lights and FX. Makes the lights look better. Footprints. Makes footprints in snow when you're walking through it. And horses and stuff. Imaginator lets you pick, for example, the saturation in the game and stuff like that through an NPC that you can summon. I'd recommend that if you think the game looks too washed out. There's also a bunch of other options. Lets you craft elemental arrows. This lets you craft faction crossbows if you are in the faction. Realistic melee range. Lowers the range of melee weapons so that you are not cutting people and getting cut from miles away outside of the normal range. This Skyrim SE expanded Skyrim weaponry adds a bunch of new swords and things to the leveled list. This is a mod that adds 105 new standalone weapons, and I think there's an option just to have them craftable, but I have the leveled list version. And unique uniques, this, just like unique items, Amidian Born, makes unique weapons look better, but I prefer this version, so I sort of have both of them so that, you know, if there's something this missed that Amidian Born didn't miss, then I can just let it do that. Other than that, I just overwrite Amidian Born with this one. But again, it's going to be up to your personal preference. So that's my mods. That's what they do. I've got to go. By the way, if you want to know what's up with the load order, download Loot, L-O-O-T. It's called Load Order Optimization Tool. You can find the link to it on the Skyrim Nexus page, I believe. Use that. Just run it. It's easy to run, and you'll be good to go. It will optimize your load order. It will tell you if there are any conflicts. I use that. There are no conflicts with these. There you go. Hopefully that helped you out. If it did, and you want to help me out, you can give me a thumbs up on the video to help promote it. And go check out my Scarm playthrough, which I will link in the video description. Other than that, I gotta go to work. Take it easy, everybody. Joe. Alrighty, I would like to give a very special shout out this month to the following $10 plus tier patrons. So thank you very much to Nuria Age, Don Lobo, RB Jiggered, Billy Nine, Dr. Pepper Penguin, Philip Rep, aka Bebop56210, Grandpa Gus, Source of Success, and Hitbox. And of course, thank you to all of the $5 plus tier patrons who should be on the screen at any moment, as well as this month's Twitch subscribers who should be listed there as well. And thank you to everybody who is in the lower tier on Patreon as well. I could not do this without you. You guys are awesome. If you would like to become a patron and support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/MrAndersonLP, linked in the video description. But most of all, just thank you for watching. Good night, everybody, and goodbye.